to welcome you to this morning's online Bible study. Whether you're tuning in at Twitter or Periscope at Bible Study Cam, whether you're on Facebook.com/reflective Bible study, whether you're on YouTube at The Online Preacher, or even if you're at the onlinepreacher.com/live, wherever you happen to be tuning in, whether it's one of those places or somewhere else, whether this is on live or on replay, I want to welcome you to this morning's online Bible study. And truth be told, I'm coming off of a weekend where we went camping, but it was a great camping spot, but it wasn't necessarily the best camping experience, because my family and I, all four of us, were at various stages of being sick. And so while we didn't feel 100%, the campsite itself was actually pretty nice. We're probably going to go back there, hopefully, if it's not booked up at some point in time later in the summer. But coming off of that, coming off of being sick, and coming off of several days of not doing these live streams as I try to recover, I'm most of the way back, but not 100% of the way there. But, as you can tell, I'm sniffling. But this morning I still wanted to jump in because I wanted to focus us in on a short little 5-verse passage. And then I want to give you an update as far as what I've been thinking and pondering and what God has been challenging me with regarding these live streams. So let's read this passage. This is found in Luke chapter 10. I'm going to start in verse 38, and I'm going to read from the God's Word translation. As they were traveling along, Jesus went into a village. A woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary. Mary sat at the Lord's feet and listened to him talk. But Martha was upset about all the work she had to do. So she asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work all by myself? Tell her to help me." The Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you worry and fuss about a lot of things. There's only one thing you need. Mary has made the right choice, and that one thing will not be taken away from her." Now, it's amazing and interesting in my mind, because if you remember back the last Bible study insight that we did, this was Thursday of last week, the focus was in on Jesus taking some time away and trying to rest with his disciples. But that rest was interrupted. And here in this passage, I believe we focused on this a number of weeks or months ago on these Bible study insights, but this passage came back around, and I thought it would be good to focus in again. In this passage, we also find somebody having the opportunity to sit and listen from Jesus, listen and learn, sit at Jesus' feet and listen, but they end up being distracted. And it's amazing because Martha, she gets the bad rap in this event, because she's trying to be the good hostess. She has invited Jesus into her home, and she wants to make a good impression on him. She has a whole lot of stuff to do, because, you have 13 adult guys, feasibly maybe even more if there was other followers, and there would be a lot of food to prepare, a lot of things to do, and a lot of places and areas to clean in a house to make it just hospitable for that large group of guys. And she gets upset, feasibly even rightfully so, because her sister, who she probably invited to help her with all of the preparation, with all of the hostessing duties, and her sister decides, "No, I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm going to actually go over here and I'm going to sit and listen to Jesus because he is fascinating." And it's amazing because Martha, she gets upset and she gets upset, and she basically comes to Jesus. She challenges and asks Jesus, "Tell my sister to help me. I asked her to come over here to help me, and she's not helping me." And the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you worry and fuss about a lot of things. There's only one thing you need." And that's an interesting statement, an interesting phrase, because it's almost like a jab at Martha, saying there's only one thing you need and it's not on your to-do list. There's a good chance that the one thing you need is not on your to-do list. And Mary has made the right choice, and that one thing will not be taken away from her. What's amazing is that God will never distract us away from spending time with Jesus. God's not going to distract us away from spending time with Jesus. And that means that if my life has gotten pretty crazy as I've been trying to do live streaming and blogging and podcasting and speaking on many weekends and just doing that while juggling full-time job as well as spending time with my family. It seems like a lot, and I'm not complaining about any of this stuff, but the one thing in my life that has suffered, being honest, is rest. And there's some people who have the mentality that, well, I'm going to work, and then I'm going to rest when I hit the grave. And I understand that mentality. But if you're going to work, and the grave comes that much sooner, whereas if you just spent a little bit more time and rested, you could have a whole lot more time working. And working in this context would be serving God and just bringing glory to Him while we're alive on this earth. And what's interesting in this event, in the Mary and Martha event, is that nothing that Martha was doing was bad. You would probably even consider most of what Martha was doing would be good. But even good things can distract us away from spending time with God. But when a good thing is used as a distraction, we discover that this good thing isn't really good from the big picture. And Jesus tells Martha that Mary has discovered the one thing that she needs. And this is also the one thing that Martha needs. And it's the one thing that all of us need. And that's time with Jesus away from distractions. And so that's what I wanted to draw our attention onto this morning. I may be a little late this morning as I just slept in trying to get over this nagging cold that hit me this weekend. But this passage and a number of other passages has challenged me that I am probably doing too much. I know that the whole virus shutdown thing opened up the opportunity and inspired me to start these live streams, but I believe that with everything picking back up, I'm going to actually scale back on these live streams to try to bring some balance into my life. I'm still blogging, I'll still podcast, and I may still even do periodic live streams as I uncover or discover something in my studies. But I'm going to really scale back on the live streaming because I want to take some time to rest and get well, and to also rest and just be with Jesus. And so I would challenge you, if you've spent some time focusing in, or if you don't have time that you've spent focusing in, resting and just being with Jesus, and you've come to watch the 10-15 minute live streams, why don't you take, if you log in, you don't see a live stream, log off and spend 15 minutes with Jesus. I know it's not much time, but 15 minutes alone with Jesus, resting with Him, is definitely worth it. So with that said, thank you for tuning in, whether you're tuning in at Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you happen to be tuning in, and whether this is on live or on replay, whether this is today or several days after I've recorded this. But let's together keep our hearts and our minds and our eyes and our perspectives on Jesus. Not letting distractions steal us away, and making time to rest and listen and learn from Him. So with that said, thank you for tuning in. And while I would normally say see you tomorrow, I'll see you the next time I broadcast, which I'm not entirely sure when that will be, but I'll see you then.